Welcome to the Lazy Revolver Podcast.
You stole it.
I am Nate Hales. As always, with me are the Lazy Kings. On my right,
I want to be the
Zane Greenwald.
That's me.
I want to do the host.
And to the double left.
Every time.
Or is it triple? To the triple
not
left
fair.
is Sage.
Triple left?
The Green.
Well, I'm to your right.
A Walt. It would be his triple left to be at you. Triple left.
Turn left 3 times, you make a right. I get it.
Ha
I get it. Does that actually work?
Well, technically, it would be like a U-turn, so yeah.
I mean, when you're driving, it doesn't work because you're on a whole nother street.
No, then you get pulled over by the cops, and they're all, "What were you doing?" Yeah. So what are we talking about, host?
Driving in circles.
Or should I introduce you again or something?
No, it's okay. I'm the host, I guess. Apparently not.
There's no fireworks.
Really.
Sorry, I forgot them
I'm the
in the
passive
back.
aggressive host that
That's
just
what
sits here and
happens.
Yeah.
stews in his own.
The 3 Lazy Kings are back.
Yeah, we're doing a threesome this time, because
Getting some
Patrick was a
action.
little busy.
Yeah.
We love Patrick.
And
we want to have
last
him on
minute
again.
thing scheduling, and someone messed up.
We got another
Sage.
a wheelhouse
Probably.
though, of a couple of other people too that we're gonna be having a little tease. We're teasing future podcasts at the beginning of the
Yeah.
podcast. How terrible.
Hey, we also tease future content that hasn't come out yet. Oh wait, we're not supposed to bring that up again.
That 3D content right there. That is, man. We don't have the equipment for that. We just don't.
3D.
Yeah, we have Poser 10, and we're trying to work in it, and it's pretty user friendly.
It's
but-
very
But
user
you gotta
friendly.
learn. You
Well, and
always
it's
have
just
to learn.
like anything with 3D, it's just CPU intensive, and when you have consumer grade computers, it doesn't work.
it's hard.
Breaks them. Your computer gets locked up for like 3 days at a time,
Well, it's,
and then we watch it. We watch the render, and we're like, oh, change this, and that's another 3 days.
it went down to a day and a half once we removed like everything and made it transparent.
Which I still think we should do. After Effects is a powerful ally.
Woohoo!
It can do a lot of your motion blurs and everything much faster.
Yeah,
Um,
it did help.
It did help, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about our failed attempts at making content, because we never fail at making content, right?
Just like
guys?
this one.
Oh, by the way,
Are you talking about the video that doesn't show up because the camera's about to cut out?
quick little not retraction, but apology for last week. We had some technical errors. The video desynced. We were using a laptop camera. We are not this week, as you can see with our. You probably can't tell. It probably looks exactly the same.
No. They can tell. This is super anamorphic, super wide.
You
Get
should
that
be able to
bit
tell
depth.
because in the YouTube section, this will be the first one that you can click on that says 1080p. Before there was no video. Now there was 720 video, and now we're 1080. Progress right there.
Yeah, progress.
Progress.
So who's buying the red or scarlet
Oh, we're shooting
camera
on a red.
so we can do 4K?
We're shooting on a red. That's what we're doing. Completely raw. It's all cinematic and stuff. That's what I was told, at least. But
I don't think it's cinematic.
moving on to our first topic, GDC was this last week. Lots of VR.
game developers.
Yeah, tons of VR.
For those of you who don't know, GDC, I believe, is Game Developers Conference.
Yep.
And it's not really game related as much as it's more hardware and industry related, mainly for getting other developers to like that. This is where like a lot of hardware and things like that, specifically this year with the VRs, they announce and they try to get people to make games on their systems.
Yeah, it's basically like the E3 for developers because they get to see all these cool toys where we're all, oh, these awesome games are out. They're all, oh, look at this new physics engine. Oh.
This is like
Go
this
ahead.
is like a second delay, but I wanted to look at how expensive E3 tickets were. They're like $795. Just a derailment there, but God.
We're really 793. Where was it?
For an attendee
It was
this
in,
year.
No,
is
but
what I'm
where
saying.
was it held? It was held in California.
California, yeah.
For E3?
Yeah,
I don't
E3.
think. I thought E3 wasn't open to the
Oh, I'm
public.
talking about GDC.
I'm talking about E3. E3 was $735 tickets that I saw.
E3 is meant for press, though. It's
Yeah,
meant
I
for
thought-
industry. It's not really something where you go like. I don't think consumers really get much out of E3.
No,
You
'cause
get to
I
play all the-
swear they.
Right, but that once again, it's demos that are meant for PR releases.
Yeah.
Not really meant for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
I'd
not.
go if
yeah.
it wasn't so expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, but Steam and Valve announced their Valve and what was it?
Steam and
HTC?
Valve are the same thing, aren't
Shut
they?
up, Sage.
They
Valve
partnered-
and HTC
They did partner with a.
partnered for the Vive.
Was it
odd
HTC?
name. Yeah.
I thought it was.
yes.
I thought it was something called Vive because the VR set's called Revive.
I thought the VR set's called Vive.
I think it was
Vive.
showing the Vive.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Whoa, what?
We do
Valve
our
and
research
HTC working on VR headset. I
on
see
the
it.
podcast.
It's right here.
We don't fact check beforehand.
We wait
We
till
really got to-
we're
got
in
to.
it to start fact checking.
So, from what I'm seeing with VR headsets, there's 3 big ones on the market. If you don't count Microsoft's HoloLens, which is more like an AR than a VR,
Yeah.
It's called Vive.
is it? I was
Boom.
Vive.
Nailed it.
more incorrect information on this side of the room.
So just pay attention to whatever I say because it's right.
I'll just-
whatever Sage says
I'll just mute
is
my
always
side of the
wrong.
track.
It's not as pretty as the Morpheus though.
Well, here's the thing is from just a technical specification. It goes what's the it go
Oculus?
Oculus, thank you. It goes Oculus as the lowest technical specification right now.
Yeah.
Then the Morpheus, then this Vive one has the best of all of them coming
Is
around
it
it
the
like
best?
it's as far as I was reading it's OLED 1080 two 1080p screens with
90 frames per
90
second.
frames and a 240 refresh rate,
That's
which
interesting.
is like what a computer gaming monitor
Yeah.
is
That's interesting
in front of your
because
eyes.
actually Sony announced a few days before the conference about their Morpheus that it was going to be 120 at 1080p.
Mm-hmm.
Just the one screen so far, I believe. Or was
Yeah.
it 2?
No, Oculus is one
Okay.
screen. I think they pretty much
Okay.
are stealing
So
everything but
Morpheus
making it
was
better.
one screen as well, but it's going to have the higher frame rate to deal with the so-called motion sickness that you get with VR headsets. that
Well,
we had
and the jitter and
Yeah.
the jitter problems.
And then they lowered their latency from, was it 60 milliseconds to like only 30?
Well, the objective is to have no latency.
Yeah.
It's kind of it really is breaks whenever you have, and they announced it's coming out generically.
Yeah.
It's coming out early 2016.
Yeah.
So we will see.
Short wait, actually.
Well,
Years go by fast.
we'll
These
see if it
days.
actually comes out 2016.
We'll see.
There's plenty of games that
Yeah.
just don't like to come out when they try to.
Watch
Well,
Dogs.
Their original projection is usually off.
But this one's hardware. This one's a little bit. This one's a little bit different. I feel like software and game developers usually are a bit harder to hold to a standard than hardware. I feel like hardware usually comes out on time.
I thought hardware would be the one that gets delayed. Software would be the one that would come
I don't know. I
out,
feel like hardware
but-
is easier to work with. Software, it's like if something's wrong, you are like paging through like pages and pages and pages of code trying to find the one thing, and even if you do fix that one thing, it probably messed up another thing because everything's dependent on this or that. And whereas hardware, it's like, oh, it didn't work, trash it, start from scratch, and it's seems like it'd be pretty simple.
Yeah,
It's more expensive, but it'd be pretty simple.
possibly.
I right now
don't-
though am still wanting Oculus to step up. I feel like they are the OG VR set. They are the only one I've actually used.
But they disappeared.
I feel like that's because they were just like, oh yeah, we're the only ones making it, so let's take our time, let's figure it out. and it's like a bunch of people are like buying into the dev kits and everything. And
Well, they're also have way smaller resources than these other companies. It's hard to fight them.
But I also feel like, well, they don't have that much smaller resources. They were bought out by Facebook. They should have plenty of money to be able to.
I guess so.
Work on all this stuff.
Then they could have something really big in the works, and they just haven't announced it yet. They could have something
they
even
need
bigger.
to, because all these other VR headsets are sounding so much better, except for the Vive. No offense, the Vive looks like it's like a VR headset that's going to give you neck pain.
Probably.
It's like this gigantic mass in front of your face.
The design doesn't look good, but it apparently is supposed to be good.
Lots more wires, I think, with the Vive as well, from what I'm seeing.
I don't know.
Well, at
all
least they're
wireless
placed in a weird area, I think, because they're all placed on the top.
But
so
but
like
you're
goes
also connected
back.
to the computer. From the PR conference that they announced it on, the guy who was playing on it, you could see there was a couple. It was hard to tell if it was his headphones cord or not, but there were definitely cords connecting them to the computer, so it wasn't like a Wi-Fi headset.
To the Matrix.
Well, HoloLens, that's what they're going for, is all wireless stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of the best type of VR is the wireless. No, just put it on, turn it on, and go.
But has anyone done that yet?
Well, no one's done any of it yet. It's
I guess
it's all vaporware. I mean, even Oculus is still, hasn't released a product.
Yeah, but the Vive is. What did they say? It's going to come out by holiday season or something?
Did they announce a release date?
I think they were projecting that they're going to be able to come out by the end of this year.
Well, projections are different from
and solid
fact.
release, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and even the Morpheus is still iffy.
This,
Early 2015 could be, the first 6 months of 2016. I mean, the first 6 months of 2016. You don't really know if it will work out or not.
Early is like May, right? That's early.
How cool would it be though? Like all of our cynicism, it's like January 1st, it's out. It's like 2016 on the nose.
No, they're just we finished it early, so I know it's E3, but it's out now.
It's out now.
Yeah, it's okay. Just take it.
They just like the Lord of the Rings, just make it all at once and release it without any PR or anything like that. Just see how it does. Just it on its own. Just push it out of the nest and let it see if it flies.
I just imagine like some investor would just be sitting in the boardroom just.
They'd probably be more upset than anything because they're like, we weren't consulted, we didn't know.
Their head would just explode like scanners.
Because personally, I would buy if I invested in stock in like Sony or something in Sony's game division, I would probably buy more stock before they released because you'd be able to see if their stock was rising towards release.
Yeah, you'd
buy more, and then you'd sell when it peaks. I'm talking about old boring stock market stuff now, but
the stock markets, man.
I'd be pretty pissed if they just released it and I was like, I didn't have any time to plan for that. They just took my money and did whatever with it. But right now it's really just a race to see who gets it out first.
Oh yeah,
possibly.
Oculus at least has made
see.
appearances in places.
Yeah, it's interesting to just see how quickly everybody caught on to this. Like they're like, oh, this looks like a gaming thing. Let's all do this now. Let's just do this.
Well, and the problem is VR has made appearances before and a couple of bad iterations and no good versions of it, and it would just slowly creep back into the dark areas of technology where nobody
it's kinda
touches
like
it.
3D.
Kinda. I mean, once again, that was another one. It's James Cameron was like, we're gonna do 3D right, and he like invented this whole way and did it all with 3D cameras, and for the time it looked pretty good, and then after that, everyone else started using it, and it just wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Could be very gimmicky. Could be there and gone like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be though.
Yeah, it feels like it's something that'll be there, but it'll be very niche.
I think what's
point.
really going to determine if it's going to stay is how many people develop on it.
True.
It's just like the PS Vita, great system, but there's barely anything to play on it.
Yeah, it comes like with the issue that PlayStation Move had or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't see a point in ever getting the Move Stick because like 5 games came out with Move. And only one of them I really wanted to play, which was like a Little Big Planet or something. So it was like, there's no point in getting it if there's nothing on it.
And yeah, you just stop.
Yeah,
And you just
software has
stop.
to be there to support the hardware. That's usually the issue.
The funny thing, you mentioned the Move. When they showed off the Morpheus, they had 2 Move sticks. And I'm like, nope, it's not going to do well. No one's going to play it. No one's going to take it. You gotta buy 2 Move sticks. I think it's a different type though.
A move stick, a camera. I actually think you do have to buy a camera to track the head.
I don't know about
The Morpheus, I think you do, because what I was
Really?
reading about it was that it has LEDs.
iToy.
It has LEDs on parts of it and they call that the head track LED.
Yeah.
And how do LEDs track your head other than by using an external camera that watches it
Yeah.
and uses those points?
I'm wondering why they didn't just use the 6-axis thing that they had a while ago.
You know, I question a lot of things a lot of companies do. You never know. Just shit happens. I don't. Out of all of them, I feel like the Morpheus right now is the least proven.
Yeah.
The Vive, the only reason they have my interest is just because the technical specs are so
crazy and out
crazy strong.
I don't know. The only reason
Well, that looks
I
cool.
would say...
Hold on 1 second. Savannah, come on, camera. Show us your belly. Show us your belly.
there. You volunteered
It's too late.
yourself.
You're already walking through. Here, come here. We're doing belly paintings, or my father is. Here, come here. Look at that. Little plug for those watching the video stream of this.
That's a belly.
That's a belly.
There's a baby.
It looks
in
like an
there.
egg, but it's not.
There's Gavin's first debut.
Yeah. Gavin will be like looking back on this, and Lazy Revolver will be like my one shaming point why I can't find a job and everything. And he's be like, "Why did you include me? Why did you include me?"
Now he's ruined.
Have I announced that his name's Gavin? I think I did. His name's Gavin.
There you go.
Kind of an underwhelming announcement right there, but
It's a boy.
yeah, we're very excited. He's
wanted a
due
girl.
next month. I got like
Woohoo.
a couple weeks. You know, I'm a daddy. I'm a sleepless daddy.
Same.
Who's going to be taking tons of cocaine.
Anyway,
Oh, wait. We're not supposed to say that?
Yay.
segue back to our tangent.
Less
of-
cocaine.
You were talking about the Vive.
Oh, the Vive, to me, the specs are cool. I think the Morpheus specs may be a little bit better, but I think the Vive will be able to pull off more software because they're going with Steam's library and everything.
Yeah, that's another big
But-
push. Is a lot
Yeah.
of indie developers will
Yeah.
will develop for Oculus. A lot of them already do.
Oh,
Steam's Source Engine, Source 2 was announced as well, and that's going to have a specific plugin
Yeah.
for VR.
well,
But Morpheus might have a slight chance just because it's going to be on a console. That's it.
you can like
I don't know. PC
Oh.
gaming is pretty powerful.
you can also tell like what each of them are trying to aim for, and they're trying to be like the best in one area, and they're trying to push that area. Like Valve is like, look at these specs, check out these specs, look at these specs, and then Morpheus is like, hey, we're really sleek and nice, and it feels good.
It is. The design of it is gorgeous out of all of them. Like, it looks small. It looks like it's very form fitting. And you know, like the one problem I had with the Oculus, it was very jagged edges and very
Well, I think-
boxy looking.
Yeah, it
I
looked
think
like a box in
Then
your
if you
face.
bring Oculus into the analogy, it's like they're trying to be a jack of all trades, and they're trying to do both, and they're not being the best in either, but
Well,
they're not
Oculus
being
was
bad.
just trying to make something. Oculus's
Yeah,
objective
yeah.
was just to make something, and now it's like
It was just a passion project at first, or wasn't
this
it?
is where I think PR it kind of hurts you a little bit, because it's like nobody really had heard of Oculus or done anything until they had a thing, and then it was everywhere, and they were like their dev kit was too easy to buy into. You know, it was like $300. Like that's the price of a normal console, and it's like and then anything with a first person shooter could essentially be on the Oculus, so everyone was buying them, and then you know but they're buying broken hardware.
Yeah.
They kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit. Hopefully they can recover, but
Yeah, hopefully.
the Facebook acquisition supposedly really hurt them though, because I guess Notch was like didn't like Facebook, so he was like, I don't want Minecraft on the Oculus. I think he changed his
He
mind
doesn't
about that.
like Facebook.
Yeah, he went back on it after, but
Well, also it
at
doesn't
first
matter
he
what
freaked out.
it doesn't matter what Notch really thinks now because Microsoft owns
True.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Very true.
Oh yeah.
So
like,
now it's
felt-
whatever Microsoft thinks is good.
He makes a lot of decisions and then regrets them because he regrets selling Minecraft to Microsoft now.
Yeah, but he had his reason for selling, and I love how we're talking about super old news, but his reason for selling was because when something you make grows to be the size that that the Minecraft was, it's like you can't really work on anything else. You're every hour of every day is Minecraft. I mean, you talk to somebody, they know you for Minecraft. You can't, and being a creative person I would hate it if I love this podcast, but if this podcast was the only thing I made till I died, I don't know. I think I'd feel a little empty. You want some
Okay.
variance in your life.
I see how it is. You're not satisfied with the audience?
Oh,
I
I'm very
love you
satisfied with
guys.
the audience. The audience,
Everyone's gonna hate you.
yeah, they probably already do. They're just like that one guy that doesn't shut up on the podcast. I'm always on the left track, so I mute myself. Just mute the left track, and you're good. You don't have to hear my voice.
Hashtag Rage the Sage.
Rage Against the
2015.
Sage.
2015.
So, what out of all of the VR systems, and look, you know what? For shits and giggles, let's include the HoloLens. Let's say that has a full VR option. Which would you buy?
Nerve gear.
Okay, you don't get that option.
It's always the nerve gear.
Unfortunately, I will say. Do I have to buy it as soon as it comes out?
Let's say, well, I mean, you work for gaming news and
Okay.
company, so
If I have
Cutting
to
edge.
buy one, I would buy the Morpheus only because I feel like there will be more games that
interesting.
should support it, and because I don't really play on my PC.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, if I didn't have to buy it because I work in gaming, I probably wouldn't buy any of them.
Really,
Go
you don't
with the
like you don't like
option.
VR?
Personally, my immersion gets broken instantly as soon as it's a thing of you can't see your feet, you can't see your hands, and most of the times you can't see those
Well,
things.
that's also because everything is
Yeah.
like alpha. I mean,
Yeah, everything's
if
alpha still.
that gets fixed.
Yeah. But
Boom.
as soon as like something like that gets broken, then it's like, oh, I'm wearing this headset that is hurting my nose.
But does
And
that
I'm all,
does that
"Just
ruin
take it off."
your does that ruin your immersion for normal games then? Like if you're playing a normal game, you look down, there's no feet.
No, normally no, because I can see the rest of the room instantly. But with the Oculus, for some reason, it does. Maybe it's just because it takes up your entire peripheral.
I guess I would think that. I mean, I guess it seems like that's a weird double standard of when you don't see your feet in a normal game. That's because you're not immersed enough. So you're like, oh, I'm playing a game, but then you
I
get
know.
so immersed that when it's broken, it's a
Yeah, it for some reason it gets that uncanny feeling.
a
instantly.
harsh-
Like,
Yeah.
it's just my mind just rejects it. It's all this is a game, and I'm all oh
Did you feel that way when we did we wore the Oculus for the
yes,
Game of Thrones thing?
yes, but the Game of Thrones thing was such a good experience only because it had like the
Vibrations
immersion
and sounds
of
and
like
wind.
like it's like a roller coaster almost. They had the wind going. They vibrated the platform.
That's why I want to buy the platform though.
So this was like a four-dimensional
platform?
experience.
Kind of, yeah. They had like a fan that went on whenever you were going up, and then the
There-
ground shook when you were in
Yeah.
the elevator.
There are tons of peripherals that they were trying to come out with that have been kickstarted. Like they had the vest that where
They
you
are
get shot,
they
it
are coming
vibrates.
out. I'm seeing
Yeah.
that stuff all over the place. It's
Then
not
they have
they,
the treadmill.
They have actual joint stuff.
Yeah, and then Brandon was developing an entire like suit system that tracks your hands as well.
Yeah.
that might get a little too much.
Yeah.
I feel like you gotta baby step it, and it's like I mean I definitely think the head tracking is one thing,
Yeah.
and basic hand motion, and the treadmill I like personally. I like only because like everyone thinks it's stupid because like who actually wants to run for hours
Yeah.
in Skyrim or something like that, and I'm like me.
Yeah.
I want
Like,
to run for hours
Yeah,
in
it
Skyrim.
seems dumb though. But
It'll be
I
tough at
think it'll
first, but
be-
I'll love it later.
I think it'll be hilarious for like Battlefield. You're just sprinting down
Just-
the field, running away from a sniper's bullets, dodging back and forth, and you just, oh god.
I'm sure you could probably also adjust the sensitivity too. So like
Yeah.
you can make a sprint a walk. Like I have a feeling that's going to be an option.
Probably.
But couldn't that be immersion breaking then? It would feel weird.
To me, that's like
Absolutely.
playing
Walking
video
when it
games
was
on a
running.
treadmill, though.
I
mean,
guess.
You don't ever stop moving in a treadmill, but you might stop moving in the game. It's
No,
one of those things where
it's not
it really depends
it's not
on.
a literal treadmill.
No, people play video games on treadmills all the
Oh
time.
no, but
that's like a thing.
the hardware
That
he was
seems like
talking
a
about.
bad idea. I think I would start running
there's
the
that one
game and
hardware.
then just something would happen and I'd stop and then just face plant.
I always go to the gym here at the apartment complex, and I'll bring my DS, but I make sure that my hands are resting on some kind of like bar or something. Because holding this like this makes my arms tired because I'm a weak pussy, but also because just in case I'm turning left in a 3D game and I just take a step off the conveyor belt, just
Do you
eat
actually
shit.
do that?
Oh,
I haven't yet, but I do not take the chances. I bet you I would if I was playing a first-person game. Like
That'd
I'm
be
usually playing third-person games on the DS.
That would be the best epic fail. But if we have to get like so many peripherals, like it's gonna be like that one sketch that College Humor did.
Yeah, the porn one.
Yeah.
I think the only thing with peripherals is the fact that you have to make them ubiquitous with everything.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to use them. And it's kind of one of those things where like you can have the vest. The vest is a great idea because it essentially just takes the vibration in the controller that's already programmed into the game and you put it and you have it go to the vest.
Yeah.
Then you get a little bit more specific with, well, it vibrates on certain parts. Well, then you're kind of having to figure that out, but it's already in the game. The second you're saying, oh, but now you can control each finger, well, that means that you need to program each finger to move on its own. You see a lot of games where it's like your hand is like this, and the only animation is bang, 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 bang. But now you're saying, but when I do this, then you're seeing then it could be really immersion breaking because you're not seeing your fingers move.
Yeah.
I just know one
Again,
software
too much
one
could be bad.
software for Oculus that I saw recently. It's just like a little attachment that you put on it, and it scans like right in front of you. So you put your hands out in front of you, and it's kind of like a Kinect experience.
Oh, like VR-ish kind of thing? Or
Well,
I mean, AR?
I don't
Like
maybe,
it
I
actually
guess.
projects the room in front of you?
Yes and no. No, it just takes the scan of your hands and what your hands are doing, and then it puts it into the virtual reality headset and whatever game you're playing, so that you can use your hands to pick up stuff
That seems like
and
it.
to like.
That
move
seems
them
like the
around.
second your hands go too fast for the camera, it like just goes crazy.
Probably. I didn't watch the whole video, but
I definitely
looked
think a lot of
pretty
these
cool.
are like
It's like-
exercises and interesting ideas. But yeah, VR is so new. I say baby steps. Like the treadmill, I think is a good first step.
Yeah.
Personally,
Like
I like
5
it.
years, 10 years from now, VR, if it's still around and it got big, it will be like amazing. But as soon as these things come out for the first year, I see there's going to be lots of issues. People are probably going to hate some peripherals.
which you'll get with the first version of everything. I mean, that's just early adoption. I mean, the first version of the iPhone was awful.
Yeah. The one that will win will be the one that becomes the universal, like, it adapts to your computer, it adapts to your PS4, it adapts to your Xbone.
Xbone.
But that'll
Still
never
love
happen.
that name.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I just plug in this HDMI
What about you,
and
Zane?
go.
What's your if you could buy one of the four?
I'd probably just go with the Morpheus, just because at the moment I'm not a PC gamer, just because that's a whole world that's, to me at least, is kind of hard to get into, because if I go PC, I want to build a PC.
Interesting.
And it's also it's a one-time, I know it's like a one-time expense and then you upgrade whenever you need to, but that one-time expense, I've never like gained enough money at one time to just even go buy a PC or get the stuff to build one. So at the moment, I'm just a console gamer, so I would probably just wind up getting a Morpheus. But if it involved an iToy, that may make me not buy anything.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to buy. Well, I mean, you got the sticks, you got the Morpheus,
Yeah,
probably
if I
have to have the camera. It's probably not going to be all one bundled package because
You're gonna have the-
Sony.
Then you get the treadmill.
if I had to buy all that stuff, I probably wouldn't get anything then.
I am all for the Vive train right now. Redactment. I am all for the HoloLens as soon as I see technical specifications.
I thought that was augmented.
It kind of is, but I almost am 100% sure that if it's anything like I say demo, it's not even a demo, their trailer, if it's anything like that, I'm sure it can take over your entire vision and become
Possibly.
VR. I almost feel like they're making it for that. But until I see more from HoloLens, it's definitely because HoloLens is the best of both worlds. You got Xbox support as well as PC support with your Windows computer. But if let's say HoloLens blows up like it doesn't ever come out or anything like that, I'm on the Vive train. Here's the reason. I know you guys are both don't like PCs or you're not PC gamers. But that's why they invented this. That's why they're coming out with Steam boxes. Yes, they haven't really, a solid one has come out and everything like that. But that is essentially Steam's version of the console. So now you have a console that runs Steam that you can get Steam's library to, as well as Steam prices, which are really cheap. You have the Source 2 engine, which is essentially, which is open source to anyone. Anyone can use it, I believe. And that means that you're going to have tons and tons and tons of indie developers that are able to make this, which could be good and bad, buyer beware. But it also has the best specs, in my opinion. Even though it's ginormous, I'm hoping they change the overall design of it. I think out of anything, it'll be the strongest starting one. Like, I feel like Morpheus will be a very slow startup. You'll have to buy everything, and then you'll have to wait for games to come out because Sony has indie games, but they don't have indie games as good indie games as fast as Steam does. Steam greenlights almost everything, and it's like but you'll get those Valiant Hearts, and you'll get those Apotheon or Transistors. You'll get those on Steam first before it goes through all the legal processes that Sony and Microsoft will probably make it go through for you to get it. And to me that is what's really where VR is going to shine the best, is people who develop specifically for VR rather than adapting to VR.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Source 2 engine, which I guess we can transition to some of the engines that got announced, has a thing where anything that's built in a first person game, you can essentially hit a button. This is what I was told. This is what I read. You can essentially hit a button and you're running it in VR now. Like the engine has that conversion already built into it. So it's like if you're able to make a first person game in general, boom, now you have a VR game.
So we should be seeing Battlefield and Call of Duty on at least one of these headsets.
If it ever gets released on Steam, does Steam have rights to
Yeah,
Battlefield?
I'm just talking about whichever ones.
Yeah.
Either Steam or Morpheus.
Well, I mean,
Hopefully.
VR is built for first person.
Battlefield-
You're not really going to get a third person VR experience. That's going to be kind of weird.
Battlefield
Hey.
doesn't go through Steam though, right?
I want a MOBA VR experience, okay? I want
That actually might
top-down-
work. I could see VR working in top-down stuff. Essentially God view. I could
I
see
don't
that
know.
working.
But not third person?
Third person, you're stuck on one person. Whereas like a MOBA or something like that, you can travel the map and essentially...
It'd be hard to travel with your face though.
No, you.
I'm not saying it'd be perfect, but I feel like you could
be
always
like
do it.
it's a monitor.
I
Just on your
guess,
face,
yeah.
so then you just use the right analog stick to move around again.
But then you could argue the same thing for a third-person game. You
Yeah.
do the exact same kind of movement.
you could.
I
They're pretty
guess
similar.
obviously VR is an immersion thing. I mean, you could also probably do the same, have the same camera view by just putting your face really close to your computer screen.
Again, this is why Nerve Gear would be the best. Anyways,
No, it
let's
would
move
not.
on to the next one.
It'd be so painful.
I'm gonna stab
I'm
you.
telling you. That would be horrifying. The early years of Nerve Gear. So we talked about this. The early years of Nerve Gear will be the most horrifying years in gaming history.
There will be no horror games after the first year.
There would be melted people's melted brains.
They're not gonna. Obviously, they would test it on rats first.
How would you know? How do you know if a rat had a good experience from a VR headset? It's laying there. It's not. I mean, you can't. I mean, you can monitor its vitals, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you probably monitor its vitals, put the headset on, have it eat some piece of cheese in the headset.
What you do?
Its heart rate is really normal.
And then
Why is it
take
really
off the
normal?
headset and
because
see
the
if it
headset's
can-
not on. Like,
Well, what you do is you just let everybody else buy the Nerve gear for the first year, let them die off, and then whenever they come back and be like, "Hey, we finally patched it," then you get the
No.
Nerve gear.
now,
You don't want to miss out on Sword Art Online.
dying
Get the updated version.
No, you want
from
to be.
You
in
don't wanna
Sword
die.
Art. You want to be
Was there
in
an updated
Sword Art
version?
when it happens.
it.
What?
I mean, there was the fairy game that kind of
There's no
Art in
updated
there.
version. I'm just joking.
You couldn't go back to that world, but I mean, unless
could
you were in the
recreate it.
fairy one. In
You
the
could-
fairy one, you could play. You could
bunch
play.
of
in
The
there.
whole idea was, I think the
Spoilers.
idea is that you could totally recreate the world if you wanted to. They have all the engine, all the source engine from the original Sword Art world, and that's how they made all the other worlds.
But
We're talking about anime,
shut up.
by
you
the
brought
way.
it up.
This is anime, by the way, if you didn't catch on to that.
The thing though that I would say is even worse than getting like dying from nerve gear would be like if someone was eternally stuck in like a horror game simulation or something like that. Like if they turned it off, it would fry their brain, and it's like they're constantly in a. After a while, you would think it wouldn't get scary, but like
Yeah,
it
you
would
would
still
probably
be
get
awful.
numb to it, like after.
You could
that's your
become
life.
friends with the,
Being in it.
with
that's
the
your life
monster.
now. That's your life now. Like you're living in a Freddy or Jason thing, and it's like, and especially because nerve gear, you feel it for a little bit, maybe not much, but you feel it. Stab, stab, stab,
Oh.
stab, stab. Probably doesn't feel too
Hey,
great.
let's be honest. Only pussies are going to turn down the pain sensitivity.
I would turn it completely off.
I would do 100%.
I would turn it 100% off because I want to. I want to be fearless in a gun game. I want to be the guy that's just like, all right, we're gonna be tactical. We're gonna figure this out. Leroy Jenkins, and just going crazy on it.
I'd turn it to like 10% just to feel it. Just be like, ooh, just that kind of thing.
Get off on it.
Yeah.
Just feel a little bit. You take the headset off.
Wow, you guys are
jizzed
ridiculous.
yourself.
Oh, I mean maybe.
No.
It's terrible.
Boost it to 200%.
There was another engine that got announced though. It was the Unreal 4 engine. Is it 4?
No, Unreal 4 is
It didn't get
not
announced.
But to all developers
Released. What was it?
and
Something like that.
It's open.
Yeah, to all developers and people wanting to get into the industry, Unreal 4's engine is now free for all
Except
except your
catch.
mama.
if you sell, they take a commission.
After the first 3,000, they start taking a commission
Right.
of 5% off royalties.
Which is not that bad at all.
Yeah.
Especially because they're giving you a free engine that's pretty good.
And most indie developers are usually 4 people, split up, anything over 3,000 between 4 people.
Yeah.
That's a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how much you spent and your costs and everything, just make sure that if you're doing an indie game, you try to shoot for like something that's good enough that you'll make your money back after the 3,000.
Did it say
Before
in there
3,000?
if it takes 5% off of each sale, or does it take 5% off the top at like a certain quarterly like report or something
Yeah,
like that?
after every, I think they said every like semi-quarterly. Zane, look it up.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Things,
Spout more business words.
Legal. Give me your car.
Redendum.
There's the answer. I don't actually have it.
Well, just because when you think about it, I mean, depending on where you release it,
Yeah.
I mean, you could be getting a good chunk be taking out of like you take 5%. I mean, you start with whoever you released it on. So let's say you make it for consoles. You're leasing, you're licensing it on Xbox.
Yeah.
So that Xbox is gonna take the cut. Then after that, Unreal's gonna take their cut, and then you're gonna take their cut, and then you're gonna get your cut finally.
Yeah, I think it's
Which
like,
probably still will be a decent amount, but it's like the more middlemen between you, the seller, and you.
Yeah, I think it probably is just quarterly or something.
Something like that.
But it's still awesome because that's kind of supporting the up and comers, trying to make more creativity.
Definitely, well, especially Source 2, Unreal 4. There was one more I thought. I forget.
Unity's free as well.
Well, Unity's been free technically.
But
Not
Unity's
the
pretty cool.
premiere version.
Not the premiere version, but yeah.
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 Good time in for up and comers to sit down and play games. Although I will say,
Make games.
my personal opinion, if you want to make games, get games that make games first before you start into engines and things like that.
Oh yeah,
Engines are like
there's
the
nice.
big boys. Like I would say, get like if you play a lot of Minecraft, you're nurturing your creativity. If you play Project Spark, you can make a game within that game.
Yeah.
If you play like even if you go back go way back and do like RPG Maker, like
Yeah, that's a good resource to just go back to. And
if you're very, very, very new to it, just be like, see if making games is truly what you want. Because those games are the easiest it will ever be. And you'll get to actually kind of experiment and see if that's what you like. And then after that, start going into those Unreal Engines and things like that. Because then you're in the big boy leagues a little bit more so.
Yeah.
big boy pants.
You can still make your own games and your own ideas and everything, but it definitely gets harder
Dance.
from there. All right, let's talk about games. What games we got?
Vigima games. Well,
Games.
we got PS Plus games for PS4. Were announced like last week and came out this week.
Was it this week?
I think so.
So the first week this time? Because last month it was like the second week.
I mean, we're still in the first week, so it makes sense. But yeah, they came out the first week, and we've got games such as games. We've got
Games.
Oh God.
I do not support them at all.
For
Get to the chopper.
That's the worst Arnold impersonation ever.
I think you'd be
I'm
very
really
flattered.
curious about this first one, by the way.
the first one is Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. It's not a new game. It's a remake.
well, none of them are new games.
No. But it's a remake of an old game. I'm pretty sure. I'm
still
pretty
looks
sure.
good. It still
I'm
looks
not
interesting.
sure, but of course. Well, that's why it probably got remade because it's an interesting game. But yeah, that's our first one. For PS4, we got Oddworld,
Which is a
Abe's
platformer.
Odyssey.
Isn't
I
it?
don't know. I haven't played it yet.
The trailer makes it look like a platformer.
Could be. Next on the list, what we did sit down like before the podcast for a while and just sat
What
down
you
and played.
played while I set up the podcast
Yeah, this guy was glued to the TV when
That's what
we
you
had
do.
food
on my account.
on
I got you trophies. Yep, I got you trophies.
You did.
He
He did give me trophies.
But yeah, we got Valiant Hearts. That's what I was been playing. That's also for PS4. And then the next one is a game that I saw a while back that looked kind of interesting, but it's like a little indie thing that I never really
They're all
thought of.
indie things.
Is every single one an indie thing?
Pretty
well,
sure
I
all
don't
of
think Odyssey, the Oddworld.
You don't. I mean that's not AAA.
Crimes and Punishment for PS. Let me go through my list. You monster.
You got put in your place, boy.
There you go.
But they are okay.
Papo e Io, I think is how you're supposed to say it.
Isn't
but
it
it's Papa
Papa?
and Yo. But it's like story of a young boy and some monster thing or whatever. They travel around the world.
Cool story, bro.
Cool
It looks
story,
like
bro.
a massive
And it's
gorilla.
I don't know. It's got
That one didn't have a trailer for it.
it's got a big
I
art
was upset.
style.
I didn't look that hard though.
It's got a trailer for
only
it.
for
You can
P-
find it.
Well, but it wasn't on this link, and it's for
Yeah.
PS3, so I didn't care that much.
Yeah, but it's for PS3.
I only have a PS4.
And next up
You're
is
first
for
person.
Hashtag first world problems.
PS3 also came out is Sherlock Holmes: Crimes and Punishment.
That came out for Xbox a while ago, didn't it? Or
It
it
came
was-
out for both
it was a
PS3 and
Sherlock's-
Xbox.
It was a Sherlock game at least.
I don't
know
know.
if it was that one
I was
specifically.
interested in this game when I first saw it come out. It doesn't look like it's an amazing game, but it doesn't look like it's a bad one.
Put that on the
Put
box.
that on the box. It's okay.
Yeah. It's meh sound. Just in in parentheses
That's
sound.
the worst way to sell anything. Just caveat. But it's kind of good.
Kind of good. I mean,
We didn't like these things about it, but it's pretty good. And then they put it on the box. It's pretty good. From
No, you're supposed to
IGN.
come out of the box, boom, you're going to be exploring virtual worlds. You're going to fly a dragon. You're going to love it. And then when they're actually in it, well...
Calm down, Molyneux. Calm down.
We weren't able to fix the frame rate, and we had to take out the dragon. But you kind of will be able
The
to explore
frame rate of the dragon.
Scripted world. That's kind of open, right?
It sounds like you're
It
talking
comes
about.
out, it's a text-based game.
Sounds like you're talking about Watch Dogs
It's
right now.
amazing.
We had to de-res a little,
A whole lot.
a whole lot.
Hey, we should stop picking on Molyneux.
Just like
okay?
Battlefront.
He is a dreamer
And a
who
lover.
sadly needs a producer to smack him in the face and tell him no.
But didn't he leave?
And
Didn't he leave his Lionsgate it's Lionsgate because of that, because they kept on telling him no, and he was like, I'm tired of this, and I'm gonna go make my own thing.
Which
and
didn't matter because Fables, like, they still didn't like have a PR representative just go, no, I'm handling the press. Go back to your office.
Well, they also just made a bunch of shitty Fable games. I mean, they haven't really redeemed themselves yet.
The first one was good.
That he was on that.
Yeah.
He was a part of that, and he was a part of Fable 2. In Fable 3, I think he was when he stopped.
Maybe, I don't know.
3
I don't really follow
was
Molyneux that much.
Okay, I mean, they weren't able to live up to some of the stuff.
Get
but
out.
It was
Fable 3 was fine.
I'm surprised. No, it wasn't that good.
It was okay.
It had such a
I had
huge
the
world
dog,
that I
right?
was able to skip over immediately.
I would
Was
put
that the
that
one
one
with the
on the
dog?
box too. It was okay.
Was Fable 3 the one with the dog, or was that Fable 2?
Fable 2 and 3. They both had dogs. I think you could have pets in both of them.
You could perv on them.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I wanted to
No,
let
it's
that
like
hang.
super pervy and creepy how you play with the dog.
petting. Yeah, the petting is super
You could
disgusting.
do bestiality in that game. Is that what you're telling me?
No, well,
It looks like it
it
from,
looks like
from
it.
the wrong
'Cause
angle.
You click like X to pet or whatever, and then your dog like you start petting gently, and it's kind of nice, and then the dog jumps on you, and then he like gets on top of you.
You
and
like
starts
cradle it
licking
like a
you, and
baby,
then-
but then you're like holding it at your pelvis, and your head goes down while you're talking to him.
Let me write this down.
I need to
the
call
new
the
book
police.
called
You can also get married and
50
cheat on your wife.
Shades of
Savannah?
Dogs.
50 Shades of Dogs.
Anyway, there's 2 more games on the list I didn't touch.
Okay.
We've
Touch 'em.
got
Touch 'em
a really
good.
small one called Ollie Ollie 2, which sounds like a skate game.
Really?
And I think it is. It looks like it's a skate game.
have
It
the
came out for
description right
PS4 and PS Vita.
Just saying.
It's Skate 'em Up.
You could read.
A Skate 'em Up, so a beat 'em up skater game. And then
It's a stoner's paradise.
I'm pretty interested in this one, Counter
Toke it up.
Spy.
That would be a stoner's paradise. Toke it up.
Toke it. Counter Spy comes for...
It's just you sitting on the couch eating Cheetos for a really long time. Constant munchies the game. What?
Counter Spy comes out for PS Vita, PS4, and PS3.
That one
And
seems interesting.
Yeah, the art style looks really cool. Looks fun. Looks interessante.
It's hard.
I feel
hard.
bad.
Yeah.
I feel
game
bad that
gets
we
hard.
haven't played any of these games. I feel so uncultured.
We played Valiant
Owned.
Hearts.
Counter Spy. And then I owned Valiant Hearts.
Owned and played are two very different.
I demolished
Definitions.
Valiant Hearts in the one level I played, and then allowed my co-king over here to finish off the final boss for me because my hands
Co-king?
were getting
It's
Cocaine.
like a drug habit
yeah, my hands were getting tired. So,
from all that masturbating, I'm sure.
All the 10s.
All the pre-gaming you did before.
that's what you have hoes for.
Valiant Hearts. Valiant Hearts.
That's what you get the prostitutes for, Sage.
Hearts. You take the game.
Paka!
Pachoo. All my Homestuck friends would like that. Pachoo.
Me too. Same.
Cum buckets. I'm looking over your shoulder.
Well, that was all the PS Plus games for this month.
Back to hardware.
hardware.
No, we didn't finish the games yet. The big news: Metal Gear 5.
Metal Gear Solid.
Somebody else take this
5.
topic because I have nothing to say about it.
There's a lot of stuff that came out this one week about Metal Gear Solid 5.
You can just leave.
I can. I literally could, and this section of the podcast will be exactly the same.
Metal Gear Solid 5, made by Hideo Kojima. Sage, take
The
it
last one that he is supposedly making.
Well, he said that with Metal Gear Solid 4, and he came back. Which sadly, I don't know. Maybe it's a contract deal or something where they're all, no, you can't leave.
I don't think it's a contract deal. I just think it's a creative thing of you make so many games, you know.
Well, what I've heard is just Konami is so screwed without that series at this point because they don't have anything else that they rely on anymore.
Well,
And
should
instead
make a
of
new
making new
IP.
stuff, instead of making new stuff, they're just going to keep pulling this guy out of retirement for all the millions he's probably
Whoa.
made.
Whoa. Lay off Nintendo, okay? We're talking about Metal Gear Solid 5.
You're right. Nintendo is renowned for all their new IPs.
So they need to
I never played Metal Gear, any of them.
Oh, I'm with you. This
totally
is
missed
the
out on that.
this is the one I am jumping in. I don't even care if I don't understand anything that's happening. I'm jumping in.
At 5?
Yes.
That's a terrible plan.
I'm jumping in at the end of the thing because the gameplay looks fun. I'm fine with the game.
You're Star Warsing it.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I did that with Metal Gear Solid 4. I jumped in like right there.
That's a terrible plan. Was that Revengeance? Metal Gear Solid 4 Revengeance? Or was that a spin-off?
Hashtag Rage the Sage. No.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
No.
I don't know. I've never played a single Metal Gear game, nor have I ever had an interest to. I've tried watching Let's Plays of Metal Gear just because I was like, I want to see what's up with this, and it did not hold my attention whatsoever.
Even
And
Revengeance.
Hideo, I love you. You're a great
Sage.
man. I follow you on Twitter. You're a nice guy. Don't care about the game. Sorry to say. It's too convoluted. Too much.
I like the idea of it, but I'm not in on any of the inside jokes. I want to be in though because there's so many jokes in those games that I wish I could be in.
The only part of
But I
Metal
will
Gear
never
that
be.
I actually know. Your mic's a little high, by the way.
I'm going to just...
We realize at the end of the podcast.
I should just grab a knife
The
and save
the
it
only
from
inside
there.
jokes of Metal Gear that I get is all of the Ego Raptor Awesome Series stuff.
Yeah, Metal Gear.
Oh my god, Metal Gear.
Yeah,
Oh my god, this is awesome.
but I feel like it's enough to get me through 5.
You just don't understand. You
Ego
need to
Raptor.
Go back and play Metal Gear Solid 4.
I'm probably gonna watch one of those lore videos that
guys
just
are
like
so
is like gives me the lore. 3 seconds, give me the lore.
Oh my
You
god.
snapped with 3 fingers there. That
But
was very
yes.
impressive.
Yeah, I'm a
This
cool guy.
supposedly will be the last installment we get of the Metal Gear Solid 5 Metal Gear Solid
Goodbye.
franchise.
And good riddance.
And hopefully
What a
Hideo
jerk.
Kojima will
Yeah, a
be
little
able
bit.
to start a new IP. But the funny
Hideo?
thing is,
I don't think Hideo's going to do it.
I'm pretty sure
He's-
he's going to start a new
He's going to
IP.
retire with his fat stacks of cash.
Meh. I don't think he can retire. How do you retire from cocaine? You don't.
You just get
Are
more.
you?
Just do more. Yes, I'm comparing creating a game like cocaine because you get addicted to it.
Oh, I thought you were blaming him for taking cocaine.
I could play
I was
a game
like, I
like
think
cocaine.
you're a liar.
I'm blaming you for making it.
See, this is why we shouldn't make games.
Oh,
the only game so
no.
far we've come up with is all drug related. Reefer the game, and
Isn't that? But that's
and
how
and White
GTA got its
Mustache
start.
the game.
It would have been very big if it wasn't for GTA. You know, they stole my idea
GTA stole my idea.
that I had when I was
I made Windows 7.
like 3 years old.
There's a lot of other
But-
Metal Gear news.
Yeah, September
that you have the
1st
notes.
is the
That,
release date that
um,
they finally announced.
I want to be the host.
You
it
got
said.
a monitor
got-
right there.
Oh, great! I got a blank monitor. I can't even move the camera to show.
Let's just change this podcast to Sage Wines podcast.
Sage's butt
Sage
hurt.
wants to be the host. I introduced you as the host,
The
and we have
Butthurt
to take
podcast.
over. What's going on, man?
How do you introduce the? I guess you could. You could voice over me, and I'll walk in with my beautiful models behind me, and I'll just be like, yeah, and I'll like high five the crowd, and I'll sit down, and then we'll start the podcast talking about nerdy things. That's how that works, right? That's where this podcast. will
If
take
you
me.
take out the models, you can make it happen.
What if I take out the voice acting? I'm okay
No.
with getting rid of you guys as long as I can keep my models.
We can be
No.
your models.
That's what you cool with wearing a bikini,
Yes.
string bikini.
Yes.
Can I
No.
smack your ass?
No.
That's yes. Yes.
I was about to say. I was like, it's no deal. It's no deal if I
No
can't
deal.
do it.
The incest podcast.
Hey, listen, little chocolate love over there. No, that's the name of this podcast. Chocolate Love Podcast.
Chocolate Love Podcast.
So, Metal Gear Solid 5.
That mic is perfectly placed over your face
Is-
so you can slowly like sink down into it.
Metal Gear Solid 5's release date is September 1st.
No one gives a shit.
And it's supposed to launch with online.
There's another game though that
Yes.
was launching with Metal Gear.
But for a second,
Shut
you
down.
just want to get off Metal Gear so hard and so. You just want to get off it so hard. I'll say that like. I'll admit that was a weird phrasing.
Already
Phrasing?
said it. Can't go back now.
I stopped myself because I was about to say
Getting off on
and
Metal Gear
I was about to say and so fast, but I stopped myself.
so hard and so fast.
Anyway,
Prom night.
it's supposed to launch with online, and the online looks pretty awesome, actually, in my opinion.
So do
Yes.
all of the onlines.
they do.
So do all of them.
See, the online, I will admit that
Are you talking about-
admit that the online looks super scripted from what we've seen. But it also looks like it could be a cool stealth approach to online fighter, to an online shooter. So, I'm interested.
What are you glaring at?
I want to see it work. Don't acknowledge him. Pretend he's not real.
I'm going to have a cattle prong. It's going to be Tay's Sage podcast.
That would add to some comedic value. It would actually make my jokes funny. Not
Now we can switch it if
having-
you want to.
Well, no. What was coming out with Metal Gear? It was another one. I forget.
Mad Max, it's
Mad
going
Max.
to, unfortunately, be a massacre of Mad Max.
Massacre?
I
Because
disagree. I think Mad Max can hold its own.
some people are saying that it's going to be good press for the studio or whatever, but that seems like they're just putting the game up there with like...
That's okay. They'll just delay it.
But that's like them releasing alongside Halo, for instance.
True.
Metal Gear Solid is very big. I don't see why you
I
would want to release
guess.
a game alongside.
I'd buy
that.
Mad
I don't
Max
think it was
first.
their intention. Was it their intention to release it next to Metal Gear
Raid
Solid 5?
Sage.
Good question. I don't know. I'm really excited for Mad Max. I'm curious though if it's gonna be. Is the game or the movie coming out first?
I think it's the.
Movie.
I think
Do
it's
you think
actually
it's
the
gonna
opposite.
be a game that's based off the movie?
No.
I hope not.
Not at all.
I really don't like.
Oh, the
those.
movie comes out first. Yeah, you're right.
I really don't like games that are based off the
Which
movies.
the movie looks amazing.
There's been a couple that have been good. A couple of movie to game that have been pretty good, but they're usually the ones that like just the game takes its own turn on things,
Yeah.
rather than being like a movie version or a game version of the movie.
Yeah, but not only is it a game based off a movie, but because it's going up against Metal Gear, I don't see it doing very well.
Wait, did you say? Do we know for a fact it's a game based off a movie?
Yes.
No,
Or are they just trying to build
don't.
off the hype of the movie?
we don't. But the fact that it's coming out after the movie is makes it look like it's a cash grab. It's essentially the toy that you buy with the movie.
I'm gonna put my faith in it. I believe it.
I definitely would buy it.
You
before
guys want to
Metal
make a
Gear.
bet?
I will.
No,
Like for $5. That's like my highest.
I wouldn't bet money, but I'll bet Zane's soul.
I'll bet Sage's.
What can we bet? None of
knows?
us have money. Okay. Whoever wins gets to introduce the podcast next.
Next
week
week.
after.
I was
The
about to
week
say, I was like,
after. we-
The
was
week
like,
after
Can we
we get the
let
results.
me get my crystal ball, and we'll find out if it does well.
Yeah, the week after the results.
Titan X. Titan X is coming out.
Well, cool
Nvidia.
transition.
And Nvidia Titan X. I wanted to get off betting my soul, or Zane's soul specifically, which is close enough. The Nvidia Titan X is coming out.
You guys aren't
Supposedly the GPU that will support VR.
Yeah, it's gonna be super expensive. We'll see if they actually don't get sued again because they lied on something. But yeah,
What'd they lie
see
on? What did Nvidia lie on?
There was an issue with the last
Titan
thing.
Z?
The Titan 980i or something. 980
Okay.
Ti. There was an issue where they said it was gonna have more RAM than it actually had, and someone found out, and
Ooh.
shit went down.
Well, guess what? It's expensive as shit, so I wouldn't know. I'm still at the I'm still on a 580.
Yeah, I'm
on a 580 Ti, which is not bad, but it's still a 580.
Yeah, I'm staring at it and I'm all, that's gonna come out and probably be like $5,000.
But it's the graphics card for the VR generation, Nate. How could you not buy into it? Oh, because you have a normal job with normal wages that don't.
So the Division
also
came
because he
out.
doesn't care about
The Division did not come out. Do not lie about that.
Hey,
That
they
is
don't
an
know what
awful,
date this is.
awful lie.
They don't know what date this is.
To all of you in the future, congratulations on the Division, or I'm so sorry on the Division. One of the two. We'll find out.
I can make a bet.
Stay tuned.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You and betting. You have a gambling problem, Nate. This is
an
rehab.
intervention,
You have
actually.
a drinking problem, Sage. Sit down.
I am sitting down,
No, you're not.
and I feel great.
Ba-da-ba. Yeah.
But yeah,
We'll
the
just,
Titan.
just cut to the end of the podcast
Titan
there.
X.
Da-da-do. That's our closing music.
With like a billion things of credits going up.
12 gigabytes of RAM finally, and one graphics card. That seems awesome.
Who has 12 gig? You have 12 gigabytes?
No,
The NVIDIA.
Oh, Jesus. 12 gigabyte, that's DDR5 RAM? It's really fast.
Here, wait.
GPU RAM.
Video
RAM.
It's got 12
Video RAM
gigabytes
is
of
extremely
RAM
fast.
I will step.
and 8 billion transistors.
That means a lot to me.
You know what that means. I know what that means. Nate knows what that means.
I do not know what that means. Don't bring me into this.
I kind of know what a transistor is, but I don't.
Nate
so it's okay.
bought his own computer, and me and you were both Mac people.
So yeah, it makes sense.
I did build a computer once, and I still have it, and it is very nice.
It's sitting in the desk to your
Except-
right, and you haven't
except-
turned it on in a month.
Except there's the problem I can't work on two computers at once. That's kind of tough.
You could work on two computers.
Yeah, you
if
have two
wanted.
hands.
Shoot.
I have two hands, but they're constantly
Jacking off.
jacking myself off, two fisting.
So you can't even use one computer.
No, he uses his face.
I use my tongue.
Oh.
He just headbutts for the space.
I
bar.
lick the keyboard.
I mean, despite
By
the
the way, do you want
disgusting
to write a
imagery,
paper for me?
despite the disgusting
I
imagery,
don't want to touch.
very
the laptop.
impressive, sir. Very impressive.
Listen, how are you gonna search for your porn? Every time we're gonna sneak in porn. Every time, how are you gonna search for Iggy Azalea's booty? If both your hands are preoccupied with your
swear.
your
That's
not a
weaponry.
thing.
I swear,
That's
if you
not
talk
a
about
thing.
my girl one more time, you're dead. Sorry, guys. It got kind of real up in
Iggy's
here.
gonna
I didn't
sue
want
us.
Iggy Azalea's butt.
Iggy
Yeah,
She
booty.
can't sue us if she doesn't know
is
who
going
we
to
are.
sue us. Yeah, because our identities are so
like
well
that.
hidden. Hi, internet.
Who knows? My name might not actually be Thomas.
I introduced
It
you
might
guys.
not, or it might be.
I
It
introduced
might
everyone
be
by
Thomas.
full
It
names.
may not be Thomas.
It may
Zane.
be. It may be both the names.
I introduced everyone by full name in the beginning of the podcast. I'm pretty sure that you know your name.
Next time, let's introduce ourselves with our name and our social security codes, just to make sure everyone knows who we are.
No, I'll just introduce you with your porn name. So what's yours?
Your password, your bank account routing number, your
Rock
PIN.
Steel.
Wasn't it?
That's my porn name.
Wasn't it Iggy Booty 99 or something like that?
No, Iggy, that's my screen name. It's Iggy Booty, or no, it's Iggy Lover.
Iggy Lover. That just sounds dirty in general. Like that. Like no context. Iggy Lover just sounds like it's like a sex position you don't know about.
Urban Dictionary, go do your stuff.
Could we get Urban Dictionary to change Iggy to be something really disgusting?
You can make your own definition.
Oh, Iggy Azalea is really gonna hate us at this point. We're getting her name changed,
Well, we're not getting her name changed.
but we're getting it.
We're getting the
meaning.
definition of her name to change.
We're evil. We're bad people.
What would an Iggy be? Hey girl, I want to Iggy you tonight. Hey girl, I want to pull my pants down and Iggy you. I want to stand on top of you.
Zane, change the subject.
I can't go farther. I can't do it.
Zane, take a hold of this podcast. It's going off the rails.
We're
well,
talking about the division.
yeah, you mentioned earlier the division. We can talk.
Confirmed 100
Speaking of
people
nasty
for a whole
Not
Dark
confirmed.
Zones.
Not confirmed.
Don't listen to him. He's always wrong.
It's not.
Most possibly
Confirmed.
likely 100 people.
No,
rumored.
they're in alpha stage, so it can easily be taken out.
So
If
what
it's
really
even real.
happened, Zane?
So the division has announced a couple things. They had a podcast recently. The first episode came out, and they announced.
Because those are always the most informative things ever.
Who are you even talking about? I don't get the references.
No, I'm saying we're doing a podcast.
Stop being self-referential.
It's a plug to our podcast.
Ugh.
Listen to the Lazy Revolver podcast.
Ugh.
If you're hearing this, I'm not helping myself because I'm advertising for the Lazy Revolver podcast on the Lazy Revolver podcast. You're probably
Stop
already
saying
listening.
Lazy Revolver podcast.
Shut up, branding. Lazy Revolver podcast. Go ahead, keep talking.
It's Lazy Monday podcast.
Podcast. Lazy Revolver podcast. Lazy Revolver podcast.
It's the Lazy Monday
No,
podcast.
keep talking.
Six.
Satan loves you. Lazy Revolver podcast.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna revamp ourselves to religious podcast now.
So there have been a lot of things that have been popping up about the division. Biggest one of all that was talked about was the dark zones, which are basically going to be our PvP areas. So that means that there will be areas that you can go to and you don't have to deal with other human players, which is a nice thing to know going in.
So we were playing Valiant Hearts, and we were talking about the dead.
What
Hold
does this
on.
have to
Hold
do
on.
with the division?
Hold on, I'll bring it around.
You were literally like,
We were playing Valiant Hearts, and we
Oh,
were talking about
shiny
World War
object.
One. We were talking about World War One, and then the No Man's Land, right? Where anyone that like pretty much pops up gets shot. That to me is what the dead zone's gonna be. It's gonna be like you're gonna just see this mass expanse of nothingness other than a bunch of dead bodies on the ground, and you're gonna be like, that's the PvP area. We don't enter that place.
I feel like
Bad things happen.
I
when you
feel
enter that
like
place.
it could be that if one of the other rumors that's popped up is true, which is that the dark zones will have
I think
100-player PvP.
I think it's funny that it's rumors from the developers. Like, I don't think that's a rumor.
No,
at that
the
point.
100. Okay, the dark zones are not a rumor. Dark zones are what has been said.
Yes.
100 players in the dark zones is a rumor.
yeah, which supposedly it's just them testing out like different players, like numbers and everything, see what they can get away with. If they get away with 100, it might be something like Mag, and Mag was pretty awesome with the numbers. Unfortunately, the rest of the game didn't come together properly. And
You didn't feel it. You didn't feel the
Yeah.
numbers. Everything was so segmented.
yeah, it didn't come
I
together
really like Mag,
properly,
but-
and the execution was lacking. So some people got put off, and then when they finally fixed it, the game was already too late.
If the division is a recreation of, like, the setting is a recreation point for point of New York City, which I think is what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be New York
Which
City.
is always scary when they do that.
If it is,
Guns and a
Real
geological
place.
recreation of an actual place.
if it's as big as that area is, I think the 100-player could work, especially with the terrain that is available.
What if
I think it's possible. I'm kind of scared of it, though, because it could turn into, like, just nobody's having fun because everybody's dead.
What if
sort
it's
of
as
thing.
big as like which is my issue with ZH1 or whatever it was.
Oh, H1?
H1Z1
H1 or DayZ.
DayZ, the other one.
As you show up, like if there's any humans, they're just gonna kill you.
Hey guys,
But-
where are you? We're on this part of the map. Okay. 4 hours of walking later. Oh, hey guys. I said, pff, dead.
But that's also
Hey, where you
what,
guys are now?
Yeah,
that's also
but-
what they're trying to avoid
yeah.
with the dark zone.
but then going back to the Dark Zone, if the entire map, not including the Dark Zone, is as big as at least Grand Theft Auto 5, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to say straight up, I'm claiming one of the Dark Zones for me and my clan. If you guys are in it,
Butt masters.
but
It's
if
a
you're
terrible place
not,
for a clan.
but if you're not,
We're constantly under
I'm down to
attack
snipe
all
you.
the time, but it's fun.
we're going to be known as the Lazy King clan. Taken. If anyone takes
LKC,
that name, getting killed.
Another
LKK,
what?
No, La K.
La K. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I could see me getting a tattoo of that across my neck.
I get one across my butt.
I can't say it though without stumbling. Lazy King Clan. Say that 5 times fast.
Lazy King Clam, Lazy King Clam, Lazy King Clam.
So close.
Suck it. I'm excited for the Division, but I feel like so far everything I've seen from it, it's biting off more than it can chew. And I'm very skeptical of it because I feel like all the ones that I'm like, this is groundbreaking and it's going to be amazing and everything, have disappointed me the last couple times.
Destiny.
But this could be what breaks that. Because
could be.
We have
a good streak for 2015.
We have not seen what this generation holds yet.
We got like
at
one
all.
game.
We have like scratched the surface of capabilities of all these systems.
Yeah, there's still been a massive drought of like.
But
we had games, but when we got the finally end of last year and people were all, "Oh, what was the game of the year?" I found myself going, Mordor.
Pretty much.
Like I was on Mordor.
That one game
good,
that worked.
But every other game that was coming out was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my counterpoint to that: is it really the hardware that we haven't tapped, or the fact that the service providers just seem to not be working? I mean, it seems like it seems like it is a development thing, but it seems like it's always server and multiplayer based. I don't really see that many problems with single player unless you're Assassin's Creed Unity. But like it seems like you're like it's multiplayer, and multiplayer you have so many other links in the chain that could be causing the problems. That it seems like no matter what game comes out, if you're saying it's going to be multiplayer and it's going to be always online, like the Division sounds like it's going to be, you're going to have big problems and errors.
It may not always be online because it has the dark zones.
Yeah.
The dark zones are PvP, which have to be online.
No, everything's online.
But if you're not in the PvP zones,
then you're in essentially the world like Destiny, where people drop in, drop out.
This is where I'm about to school all you fools. There are hub zones.
See y'all next week.
There are hub zones like an MMO or whatever where you can meet up people. There's a marketplace, like the tower. Then there's...
Because the tower is great.
Yeah. So there's zones for markets, zones for like a tower area where it's just you meeting up with random people. And then there's actual game shooting combat zone where you can go in with your friends that you have invited
PvE.
to your match to basically just be... Yeah, PvE. And then there are dark zones, which are quarantine, where they basically make sure that, like, hey, you're going through this place, and now it's about to turn into a PvP.
That's a nice thing. It lets you know that you're about to go into PvP.
Instead of you racing through a window or something, and it's all instantly, crap.
How they have it set up, from what I've heard, is that it's a contamination center.
Are you guys part of the development team?
Yes. It's a contamination center.
We have to kill you now.
That you have to go through in order to enter the PvP areas.
Yeah.
How that relates to the story, no idea.
Because the story's about...
Here's what I don't like.
Virus that broke out in the area, and they quarantined the entire city, and then it fell apart.
Here's what I don't like, though. To me, that's immersion breaking. To me, it seems like you're losing the absolute chaos that would be that world.
Not
because
if it's justified.
Because you're saying this area you can shoot each other in, and this area you can't.
Not if it's justified.
How so? How would that be justified? How is everyone buddy on this side of the quarantine, and everybody is cutthroat and kill on this side of the quarantine?
Civilizations. Maybe it's a civilization.
Basically, the dark zones are like, hey, this area is still contaminated with the virus, and we know for sure that the virus is here. So the quarantine areas are still up to get in, but pretty much the only people that are allowed out are the ones that are our operatives that we evac out. And then every other area is stuff that they've been able to take back. And
but I'm saying if you're saying there's still PvE outside of the quarantine zones, it seems like you got a ton of people walking around with guns trying to get essentially loot for themselves, which in a actual world scenario that would be something you're fighting for, and you would be like, oh, that guy's picking up that shoe. I really want that shoe. Psh, all right, now it's my shoe. And it's like, it's like that's how a apocalyptic scenario seems like it would go, or at least. And then you would start to get a natural community going of some people are the good guys, some people are the bad guys. You see that in a lot of DayZ type things where you'll see people band together to get the best stuff. and then all the lone wolves out there will essentially be screwed over. And that's where I feel like it's immersion breaking, because it's like the second I walk into a quarantine zone, I'm like, I know I will be shot. And it's like, then me being the trying to play it as realistically as possible, I'm like, why would I ever go into the quarantine zone? Like,
because it has better loot, higher risk, better payoff.
But I mean, I don't know. It just to me seems like it's just make it all, that kind of game. In my opinion, it worked really well for DayZ. I would think it would work really well for The Division.
But it worked well for DayZ, but I don't know. I think the PvE element, couldn't that be offline? I don't think this game necessarily has to be always online. Not unless they make it that way. I mean, technically, you cannot play any multiplayer sections of Destiny.
Yeah.
But because everything is always online, you can't play Destiny if you don't have an internet connection.
I know, but that's where Destiny could have gone wrong, and that The Division can fix that.
Could. Will they? I don't know. Everything's pushing towards
They've
online.
got a lot of time.
I think it's more like
taken a lot
Destiny
of time.
had a lot of time.
No.
I'm just saying.
Destiny was 5 years in development.
Destiny had a lot of time and a ton of money.
And then cut
the resources do not matter. It comes down to the creative direction.
But they were also the first of that kind of genre of whatever. The Division has gone
always online. I don't think so. I think they're
for console.
Yeah, I think for console, I don't think they're the first ones. I don't think
they're the first one to attempt an almost MMO like world, weren't they?
Now you're getting further away from your point. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of MMOs that have come
Division
out on
looks kind of similar to the basis of.
It
Destiny.
looks cool. I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical.
I know, but I'm trying to argue with you.
Well, you can't, because we're arguing something that doesn't exist.
Well.
Oh, now I can argue with you. You see, I can argue whatever I want.
Well, so see you guys next week for the Laser Revolver podcast. Like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. We do a lot to make you guys happy. If Zane needs to come to your houses and give you all blowjobs, we will make him do it. Till next time.
You were the prostitute we send for people subscribing.
Till next time. Yeah, but you saw, I got that 1080p camera, so I did my due. I did my due diligence. Till next time. We had a lot of fun.
Exercises, man.
Those kegels.
When you want something great, you gotta take the little punches.
Laser Revolver podcast.